Why wait for DJI to release their drone? Let's print our own fat FPV DJI drone and paint it at the end. At the time this video is posted, DJI is about to release their first FPV drone, and I just couldn't wait for it, so I had to make it from scratch, just judging by some pictures online, and 3D printed myself. Hi, I'm Paul from dronesgetter.com, and I hope that you find this video entertaining. If you're watching before the drone is released, I hope it scratches that itch to know more about it and to see how it actually looks in 3 dimensions. I even made a video with all the leaked photos and specs. If you want to check it out, it's over here or in the description. But with that aside, let me present you all the steps you will see through this video. There are 5 phases to the printing process. Phase 1 is going to be me measuring the drone from leaked images, creating it in a 3D program called Fusion 360. The second step is actually 3D printing it on my printer, piece by piece. Third step is a very ASMR-like video where I remove all the supports of the 3D print. The fourth step is when me and my girlfriend are coloring the drone to better match the color of the drone in the pictures. And final, and the fifth step, is showing the final drone in a close shot and talk about how it looks, what each part is, and pretty much try to imagine how it looks, just like a poor child looking through a window full of toys, not being able to have any. But you know, I do have a 3D printer and a lot of other DJI drones, which I am comparing on this channel, and hopefully I will get an overview on this channel with this FPV drone when it gets released. So here we are. If you are watching this in the far future, it might make you laugh, as all I have right now at the moment of making this video are like 3 leaked photos taken with the drone. But as I mentioned in another video, we can actually tell by measuring the FPV goggles next to the drone. I will measure the drone at the end just so you have an idea how big it is in real life. Let's get inside the program itself to see how everything went and what steps I took in creating the drone. I'll go more in detail at the end. So these are all the steps that I had to do to create this drone from scratch. This program that I'm using is called Fusion 360, and I pretty much started with a sketch like this after I measured all the dimensions from the leaked photos. As the next step, I actually made the motors themselves, as you can see here, and I made them a little bit inclined, because this is how they were in the official photo. I also made the body itself with the corresponding thickness, also slightly inclined, because it's more aerodynamic this way, and that's how it showed in the pictures. And now I started creating the bottom of the drone with the landing gear as such. Here are the 2 front legs. The drone pretty much sits like this. These 2 should be the front-facing sensors, and now I started working on the upper part. Making some cubes and joining them together to pretty much just get the official shape. Here I made the hole for the camera, smoothing the edges a bit. As you can see here. Here I started creating the camera itself. And this part here, and which basically should be the mounting bracket with a servo in it, which allows the camera to move up and down. The camera itself, here I made a hole for the cooler. The propellers of this drone are quick release, as we could see in the photos, so I made something like a quick release system here, and something to mount the propellers on, as well as in the back. Now I have started to create the plastics behind the motors, which allows the drone to be more aerodynamic. As you can see, I have made the ones in the back and trying to make them smoother now, making these arms slightly more bent like this. Also for the arms in the front, smoothing them up a bit. Just look how satisfying this is. Nice. Yeah. The details apparently matter. And this part right here, which I don't really know what it is, but it does have the DJI logo on it. Smoothing things up a bit. Here at the back too. I have added the logo here, my website here, and this cooling part right here. The air probably goes through here and cools the internals of the drone. After this, I pretty much had to cut the main body and separate it from the arms themselves, from the legs, because I couldn't print it on my 3D printer as it was too big of a drone. I also made this part right here, so basically a way for the arms to for the arms to actually get fixed to the main body somehow. And this should be it. Now it's 3D printing time. After this step, we need to arrange the parts of the drone in a program that pretty much tells the printer what to do, where to print and how to print it. For this, we also need supports. That is because the 3D printer is nothing but a very precise device that melts strains of plastic, and it still works by the laws of gravity, meaning it can't print in the air. So any material that is bridging or at a steep angle needs some support material to be filled underneath and removed afterwards in the third step. I separated the print in 3 parts, totaling somewhere along the lines of 35 hours of print time. Yeah, this took me about 2 days to print. The drone itself isn't hollow, it's 5% infilled with plastic to support its walls better. I first printed the main drone body by itself and then 2 other sections for each of the drone arms. In the third step, we actually remove the prints and then we take off the supporting material, leaving only the nice and smooth lines of the model itself. We are then gonna fix the arms in place and glue them together to make one unique drone. This part is going to have the original sound on for people who like ASMR, and it's frankly very satisfying to do and to watch. It feels like popping a zit or something. The drone is printed with white PLA plastic and it's pretty good looking, I'd say, but not really close to reality. So I decided to buy some acrylic colors and brushes, call my girlfriend for a nice couple experience and paint the drone as close to the leaked photos as we could on a Sunday afternoon. We pretty much used mainly black and grey as those are the usual colors for DJI drones, and this FPV one is no exception, it seems. In my opinion, I did a pretty good job of it, don't you think so? I mean, the drone looks quite similar to that in the pictures. It does look a bit bulky, I guess. I mean, even the props spin. It really is my beautiful creation. I did get two things obviously wrong, one being the top hunch. It should have been a bit more curved instead of straight, and I think I actually made it slightly bigger than what the original should be, but not by a lot. Compared to other FPV drones, this is quite big, even if we take my array into account, but think otherwise, I did a pretty good job. So let's review this fake DJI FPV drone. As you can see, I made the front camera a bit curved, maybe too much so. As you can notice, there's a shine in the original photo that makes it look curved, which means it has a pretty wide field of view, but I really hope no fisheye effect. The motors are slightly inclined at an angle, and so are the arms, to help with the aerodynamics of the drone flying forward at high speeds of up to 150 km per hour, presumably. Right here you can see the quick release propeller system for 5-inch propellers with a tri-blade, which is quite popular in the FPV hobby for drones that need a lot of lift, and this one surely does too. I was worried the drone won't be too steady on the ground since the back legs don't touch the ground, but even if it only has this support right here, it's very stable, mainly because of the front-loaded weight and spread apart front legs. The motors also have this tear shape behind them, and I expect DJI didn't put some random plastic there to make it look cool. They must have a purpose. Providing way less wind drag, this means very good battery life and better speed than most drones of this size and weight. In the middle we can of course see the two obstacle avoidance and proximity sensors in front. They can be used either for obstacle avoidance at low speeds, especially at landing or launching the drone, or simply to stop in time before it hits an object. We will have to see when the drone is actually released. There is also the infamous DJI logo right under the drone. Could be branding, but I doubt it since it would again be wasted material, so I'm expecting it to actually hide something there or have some sort of use. Could be another sensor or simply an extension of the battery rack. Speaking of which, at the back, in the images we couldn't see anything there, but what looks like this huge landing leg. But I'm expecting it has to have a storage function, or else it wouldn't be there in the first place. There would have been just two smaller legs or something. I put a hole in it as I'm expecting this to actually slot the battery itself that will go inside the drone. And look at this, if you hold the drone like this, slightly inclined, in the position it would normally fly at high speeds, the battery is actually going to be level with the ground and provide a really good balance to the drone. The canopy shape is also designed to be more aerodynamic for this slightly tilted high-speed flight. Of course, my design is not super accurate and less aerodynamic compared to the original one, but I tried my best, okay? Same goes for the tear-shaped things at the end of the motors. They will be slightly inclined, made for when the drone flies forward. Here in the back, I simply made this design because I thought it looked cool on the original drone. Maybe, just maybe, it could be that there's a part that gets heated, and since it's made of metal, it will cool the components inside while wind passes through these ridges right here. Another cooler is definitely at the top of the drone. It's also made in such a way to maximize functionality at high speeds. Now for the final part, the camera. As you can see, it has this part right here that seems to hold it in place, which should be a servo that actually enables you to tilt the camera up and down, which is amazing for when you can fly at different speeds while in the air. It's really good they haven't added a 3-axis gimbal, as it would simply be too fragile and wouldn't make sense on an FPV drone. This camera looks very sturdy and quite big, which means it will have a big enough sensor to allow for some solid image stabilization. You may be watching this video before or after the drone has actually been released. However, either way, I recommend you as a next step to go and visit the article in the description, where I will add all the specs, photos, videos and a review as soon as the drone itself is released. Until then, it's pretty much all the information you can find about the drone at the time being. So check that out if you want to find what the latest information is. Next, I recommend you check one of these two videos right here. Both are regarding the DJI FPV drone and you might enjoy them. And if you like the video, subscribe. And most importantly, don't forget to leave a comment down below letting me know what I did wrong, what I did right. Maybe I'm missing something, or maybe if you have even something nice to say.